everybody. This is Brian with BackStage360. We're at the Hilltop Center in Fallbrook for a little bit of a different twist on what's going on today, I guess. And we are with the spiritual director of Hilltop, Guy.
Guy will work perfectly.
There you go. See, got it right the first time. So, Guy, first of all, thank you for having us here.
It's a pleasure.
You got a lot of things going on. We just took kind of a semi-tour of the place. Let's start out with a little bit of the history of the building and then maybe how you got involved with it. But let's start with the building because the building has a little interesting history.
It does. It's we actually love our building. So our building is one of the first tilt-ups built in the state of California. It was originally a Mormon stake built in 1953.
We don't have to be Mormon to come here, though, right?
We're not a Mormon community anymore. So in one of my daily prayers is to bless those little blue-haired ladies that bought this place in the 80s from the Mormon church and established our spiritual community here. I took the pulpit here in 2005, so I've been here just about 16 years. The building was in need of about 20 years of deferred maintenance, so every year it's a project and we just keep building and adding. So it's kind of like the Winchester Mystery House. You know, it's an ongoing project, but we love it because it's our spiritual home, but it's also an incredibly wonderful building to offer to the community for different types of events, whether that be quinceañeras, weddings, special occasions, concerts, dances. It's kind of a full service building.
Well, you're a native San Diegan. Is that pretty accurate?
I am. I grew up in the South Bay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you come up to here. We're a music magazine, so we're not going to let him preach to us quite yet, but he is going to be available for that. Currently online, we'll get into that in a little bit too. But right now, let's talk about the building itself, because from what I can tell in looking around, there are three distinct areas that you're either currently looking to rent out or get bands in here, weddings, bar mitzvahs. What is available here for anybody?
So we have for the last several years been making our building available for several types of venues. We have three areas that we sort of are really quite proud of. The first is the room that we're in right now, which when the Mormons built this place back in the 50s, this was a basketball court. And actually when they moved, they took the basketball court floor with them. So we have redone the floor here over time. And so this room holds about 300 people. It has a stage. It has access to a kitchen. It has access to the courtyard. And a lot of times groups have come in and they brought food trucks and put them into the courtyard, or different types of events have done barbecues or food things there. So we have this room here, which is our main room. We call it Star Hall.
So we'll call this the big stage. Is that
this
okay
is the big
for you?
stage.
This is the big stage.
The grand salon.
If you can kind of see in the video behind us, we've got a little bit of the stage in there. Do you know the size of that stage? Because that is a decent sized stage for any band.
Yeah, I don't know the dimensions of it. I would imagine it is probably maybe 12 feet by 20 feet, maybe. I would guess that's kind of what we did is we actually cut part of the stage off to make the room wheelchair accessible. So we have a ramp in the back of it that allows people with disability to come into this room.
Now, I know what a lot of you bands are thinking right now, and yes, I'm going to ask them anyway, okay? So do you provide, on this stage particularly, do you provide any type of backline?
We actually don't. The bands would bring any of that kind of stuff in themselves. Most bands come in with their own lighting and their own sound and their own engineers for that.
And I know you're working on all that at least in another room. So let's go to the room B now.
Room B. So the room that we call our sanctuary is it's a smaller venue. It'll hold about 100 people. It's a very intimate room. Acoustically, it's a lovely room, just simply because of how it was built. Again, these concrete walls. We have just invested in a new soundboard that allows recording capacity. And so what we do for our house band, and what we've allowed for other people to come in and do, is they can come in, they can record off the soundboard, they can use our camera or their own cameras if they want to video it, and then engineer it. We also have a grand piano in that room too. So that's a really wonderful room for recitals or more intimate kind of gatherings. It's more private. It has a nicer ambiance to it. It doesn't really quite look churchy, but it is, it's got pews, but we kind of clean it up nicely.
Pews would be the first dead giveaway. I think,
That this is what it is,
well,
yeah.
let's go back into that room now, because again, you're saying the bands bring everything in. So that does give them an alternative, because if they want to go into a recording studio, there's a certain price point for that. And I think you and I talked a little earlier, your price point's a little under that, depending on how many amenities you want to bring in, and whether you're having the guy run the board, lighting, etc. But it does give the bands more options to record, correct?
Absolutely. This room, they would do their own recording, their own engineering, and they would have to have their own equipment for that. We do offer the board. Of course, we would want one of our own people using it, because we just bought it. So there's the hourly wage, or the time but what that is. But I guess what I would say is this: when it comes to pricing, is part of our philosophy is a commitment to the arts. And so we like to partner. And, we're not Apple Studios. We're not trying to, make a lot of money here. We understand musicians, like clergy, like other types of performance artists. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "Genius stands on limitation." And so we understand that, and so we will work with people for that point.
Well, let's talk about that then, because you mentioned that this was in a state of very huge disrepair. So let's say a young band, they're just getting going and they want to do something like this. What if they came up and said, well, we'll come in here and paint the whole thing in exchange? Is there a bartering situation where a band could do that? Or bring you lighting, or offer some other services?
We would work with people on that. Again, at the end of the day, we pay our electric bill, we pay our water bill, so good hard cash is good, but we're willing to do different types of exchanges. We had a theater group that was here for a while, and they actually built an extension of the stage out for us. And we worked with that. We've had other ones that have brought in lighting for the courtyard. So we're willing to work, and if people want to do good old labor, again, this building is 67 years old, so there's always something that could be done here. Always something to do here, yeah.
Yeah, and with everything going on, and it's hard for bands to get out and do anything right now. So and you and I talked earlier, it's like they're all sitting at the starting gate looking for somewhere to go play, and many of them just simply want to play again, and it doesn't matter. So that is an option, and I guess what you're saying is money is not falling from the sky. Yeah.
We when the lockdown happened, we lost probably 40% of our income that came from offering our venue. So we're first of all, we are committed to staying in compliance. We are committed to the safety of anybody that walks in this room. They have a right to feel safe. My guess is bands kind of like us, when we are going to begin gathering again, we'll begin out in our courtyard, because that's outside. It's large enough that it can hold quite a few people, and it's a lovely private area outside.
Yeah, it is. And I know that it's a little warm today, at least for people like me. And Jamie and I were talking that there's going to be some overhangs going in there and make it shady and stuff. But yeah, I think that's the ticket. Everybody's moving outside first, right? So yeah, that's what you got to do. But everybody needs to help support the arts. And we also have another stage that's going to be set up, and that is the outside stage now we're talking about.
We actually, the stage is built, it's made, it's in San Diego. I was going to take my truck and go down and get it and pick it up, but
Did you have an interview today or something?
but I had, well, not I had an interview today. I had a motorcycle crash a month ago, and I'm a little bit laid up. But it's available. We should have it up here within the week. And we actually ordered our outside coverings a couple days ago, so that should be up by the beginning or the end of next week. So because we're looking at doing some kinds of small gatherings for our own community outside. So that's where most of our attention is right now, and that's kind of our focus, is developing our outside area first.
You did mention something, and this is certainly a different time with everything going on. But you did mention something to me earlier that I did like, and that is that everybody has the right to feel safe, and that when you lease out, rent out, or do anything with these rooms, you said that they basically had to prove that they could do that.
Well, the state of California and the county of San Diego issue what are called the requirements or mandates in order for social gatherings to occur. And it's a checklist. Do you have this? Are you providing masks? Do you have sanitizer? You know, we bought a fogger, so we fog the rooms and sanitize this room, even though people aren't in
A
it.
fogger like on stage, or one for disinfecting?
Disinfecting fogger.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't.
Different fogger. Okay, good.
Different kind of fogger, different kind of venue, different kind of ambience. Yeah, so we provide those kinds of things, but things like release of liability, the fact that they're providing sanitizers, the fact that they're issuing mask guidance, and those kinds of things. So, our compliance is what the state and the county are offering us, and any venue of any form, in order for it to open, has to be compliant with that. And so that's kind of where we are, because we want people to be safe.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think for the most part, people want to be safe.
Yeah.
But we all have an itch to get back to the norm, but we all understand that it might take a little bit of time. In the meantime, what we have to do is get live music produced again, and this venue offers all of you that. And it's something where I feel that people need to help you achieve your goals too, because it goes two ways.
I think so. And I think I'd like to respond to something that you said, which is getting back to normal. I guess how I look at it, normal for most people wasn't that good. And we're not looking at trying to get back to normal, but really looking at what's wanting to emerge. Our question isn't why did this happen, but what's available, what's now. As a spiritual community, part of our belief is that this divine intelligence, call it what you may, one of its most remarkable qualities is its novelty, how it creates newness. And again, I quoted Emerson, and I heard a quote from Orson Welles, of all people, and it has stuck with me. And he said, "The greatest danger to art is the absence of limitation." The greatest danger to art is the absence of limitation. So how do we create novelty with the limitations that we're in? Right. And I think that's kind of where it is, because, evolution happens this way. Evolution happens with those that are agile, that are willing to grow, that are willing to be innovative, and not waiting for things to return to something.
Well, one way it certainly can happen is if we all band together to try and get to a common goal, and certainly saving the arts and getting the arts out there, whether it be music or any other form of the art for that matter, should be a common goal. We can't afford to have it go away. At least I don't want to have a society that it goes away. I don't think you do either.
I think, what makes us human is our capacity to tell stories. And whether we tell that story by painting the caves of Lascaux, tens of thousands of years ago, or creating music, or a verbal story, or an interpretive dance, what makes us human is our capacity to tell stories. And so it's important that that stays alive, because it's what makes us human.
And this building has some stories to tell. And I think that, again, anybody that would be interested to come up for services, for possibly looking at it for recordings, for when we eventually open back up and people are allowed back in, I know that I've had a lot of friends play here, and they enjoy it up here.
Yeah, it's a lovely community. As far as venues in Fallbrook, we're quite proud of the niche that we have created. We are not something like the Bob Burton Center, which is, has a capacity for a full symphony. It's a beautiful, stunning, but most local bands wouldn't be there. It's not in a bar, so people are actually listening to you. There's the ability to be inside and outside. So I think the niche that we provide is a lovely one for local bands and different types of artists.
But you would be open to a major touring band coming in and checking it
We
out,
would
too.
never say no to that.
Well, tell people how they can get a hold of you if they want to become interested in any type of capacity and just helping you, painting, whatever it may be. How do people find out more about it?
So probably the easiest way to find us is our website, which is thehilltopcenter.org. If you go to that, it will have contact information where you can call our office staff that will work with you on securing a day and a time for doing whatever you're wanting to do. That will also direct you to the other services that we provide. On our website, we are offering yoga classes, meditation videos, music videos, Sunday celebrations. So we have we're looking at who we are as a virtual community, and there's a lot of content there, and the best place to find it is at our website.
Guy, thank you so much for taking some time with us.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I wish you the very best.
And the same to you.
Thank you.
For BackStage360 and Guy, thanks for joining us.